Hold on. When he heard Dustin's voice again, Ziggy froze in place and broke out in a sweat. Buddy, you're not changing your mind, are you? Next time, when you're going to act tough, don't wear faux mink. It's embarrassing. With that, Dustin left, leaving Ziggy standing there in a daze, looking bright red. Seated by the window on the second floor of Regal Court, Lana swirled her wine glass. Her gaze was fixed on the tranquil night outside. The moon and stars were mirrored in her beautiful eyes. It made her appear exceptionally charming. Ms. Cameron. At that moment, a bodyguard dressed in a suit approached her. He whispered, "We had an incident earlier. The target you asked us to keep an eye on has disappeared." Disappeared? Lana raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? The target is quite strong. He took down dozens of people with his bare fists. Then, he disappeared without a trace, the bodyguard replied with his head lowered. Oh, doesn't that mean he's an excellent fighter? Lana smiled, her expression betraying her growing interest in him. I thought he was just good-looking, but it seems like he's got some skills. Have someone investigate him and find out about his background. If he's on the right side, try to bring him over. Understood, the bodyguard replied and left quickly. Interesting. How interesting. I haven't met someone this interesting in a while now. Lana smiled faintly before downing her wine in one shot. She had a feeling that she had come across a valuable treasure. Early the next morning, Dustin left his hotel and headed straight for Harmony Healers. After shaking off the people following him the previous night, he checked into a hotel near Harmony Healers. His primary goal of coming to Oakvale this time was to treat Cinna and investigate the events of the past. With his current skills and the help of the Celestial Pearl, he was finally capable of searching for the truth. 5 minutes later, Dustin walked into Harmony Healers. The place was as bustling as ever, filled with mostly middle-aged and elderly patients. It was as noisy as a market, with people chattering incessantly. Dustin had already informed Brooke beforehand of his arrival. So, he proceeded directly to the second floor. The door on the second floor was already open. Brooke had been waiting for him in the living room for some time. Dustin, you're here? Please, have a seat. Brooke extended a welcoming hand. Pouring him a cup of tea, he apologized. I'm truly sorry for what happened last night. Even though Harper can be quite stubborn, she means no harm. I hope you won't hold it against her. No worries, it's all in the past. I just hope she can behave herself going forward, Dustin said with a faint smile. Harper was a stubborn and unreasonable woman. If it weren't for Brooke's sake, he wouldn't have been so understanding. Of course, as long as she didn't cross his boundaries, he preferred not to be bothered about her. I'll make sure to teach her manners from now on. If she continues down this path, she'll get into trouble sooner or later, Brooke said regretfully. By the way, Dr. Bush, how is Mr. Schaffer's condition? Dustin changed the subject. I just checked on him. Cinna's condition is still stable for now. But he can only stay that way for around 10 days to 2 weeks. We'll need to produce the Sanctifix as soon as possible. Brooke's expression turned solemn. Have you got any news on the 3 main ingredients for Sanctifix? Dustin asked. I've already had someone look into it. While we don't have any news on the Iceheart Lotus or Emerald Corolla, I do know where to find a Dragon Panax. But it's a bit tricky to get. Brooke sighed. Oh, where is it? Dustin perked up instantly. As far as I know, the Dragon Panax is the Welsh family's treasure. They rarely show it to others, Brooke explained. The Welsh family, one of Oakvale's 8 great families? Dustin raised an eyebrow. Exactly. Brooke nodded. I heard that Mr. Welsh Sr. has been in poor health, and they're keeping the Dragon Panax for its life-extending properties. It'll be incredibly difficult to get it from them. It is pretty troublesome, but we have to try. Leave this matter to me, Dustin said thoughtfully. Dr. Bush, please look more into information on the other 2 medicinal herbs while I'm at it. No problem. I've already contacted my friends in the medical community. I believe it won't be long before we get news on them, Dr. Bush replied seriously. Master Brooke, Dustin, we've found you. At that moment, Cody and Harper walked in through the door. Me. You're here to take advantage of us again, Harper grimaced and shot Dustin a scornful look. She couldn't shake off the events from last night. Her resentment toward Dustin and his collusion with Lana was still fresh in her mind. Dustin, I heard you were almost robbed last night. Are you all right? Cody asked with a concerned look. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Ostrower. They were just a bunch of petty thieves. I didn't take them seriously, Dustin replied. Dustin suddenly changed the topic and asked, by the way, Mr. Ostrower, how did you know I was almost robbed? Huh? Cody's expression froze, but he swiftly regained his composure. Oh, I have a well-informed network. In this part of South City, hardly anything can happen without me getting wind of it. I see. Dustin chuckled with a knowing look. He had been wondering who might have taken an interest in Enchanting Elegance last night. It now seemed quite likely that Cody was involved. However, he had no intention of exposing him. After all, a hypocrite like Cody could turn out useful in the future. Dustin, Enchanting Elegance may be a treasure, but it's also a burden. Given your current status, you won't be able to hold on to it for long, Cody said meaningfully. Oh, is that so? What would you suggest I do? Dustin probed. It's quite simple. The sooner you sell it and get it off your hands, the better. Cody added seriously, you should give it to me if you trust me. I'll get someone to auction it off for you and make sure you get a great price for it. As long as he had the painting, he would be the one to determine the final selling price. How would a country bumpkin like Dustin know how much it was worth anyways? An auction, you say? Let me think about it. Dustin pretended to consider it. Don't dwell on it too long. Every minute you have your hands on it only puts you in more danger. I'm advising this for your own good, Cody urged somewhat impatiently. Dustin was about to say something when his phone rang. When he answered, he heard Ziggy on the other line. Hey, brat. Didn't you want to meet up with Mr. Swanson? I've arranged it for you. Come on over if you dare. What did you just call me? Dustin's voice grew colder. Ziggy was about to curse at him when he was reminded of something. His voice faltered as he stammered. Buddy, you wanted to negotiate, right? Mr. Swanson has invited you to meet at Goldcrest Lounge. Please come over soon. Goldcrest Lounge, was it? All right, I'll be there in an hour. After hanging up, Dustin turned to Dr. Brooke and said, Dr. Brooke, I have some matters to attend to. I'll be taking my leave. Let me know when you have any updates. All right. Brooke nodded. Dustin, I heard you mention that you're heading to Goldcrest Lounge? Cody asked. That's right. What's the matter? Dustin responded with a sidelong glance. Do you know that Goldcrest Lounge is the Welsh family's territory? Cody asked again. Of course, I do. I'm going there to negotiate with Zion. Some matters are best resolved early to avoid trouble, Dustin replied casually. Dustin, you're being naive. Cody slapped his thigh. He cautioned, the Welsh family is greedy and has been eyeing the Dew Balm formula the entire time. If you go alone, you're sending yourself into the lion's den. No one knows who the lion is yet. Dustin remained calm. Dustin, if you insist on going, I won't stop you. However, to be safe, I strongly suggest you write down the Dew Balm formula and entrust it to us. If the Welsh family can't get their hands on the formula, they definitely won't hurt you, either. Cody was quick to come up with the idea. Since he couldn't get his hands on Enchanting Elegance, getting the Dew Balm formula was a good alternative. Mr. Ostrower, how thoughtful of you. You're always looking out for my best interests, Dustin said sarcastically. First, he wanted Enchanting Elegance, and now he was after the Dew Balm formula. This son of a bitch was exceedingly greedy. Come on, we're friends. It's only natural to help each other out. Just wait a moment, let me get you some paper and a pen.